The new generation of workers, I've heard it from some of you and a lot of other people too. They don't want to work or travel. They're into quiet quitting, the idea of doing the minimal necessary amount of work just to get by and nothing more. This new idea of lazy girl jobs, you've probably read about that. A lot of appearance on TikTok, where people are just describing, and they happen to be mostly female, and they came up with this term, a job they can do from home, not too demanding. You can be sure that you'll be done at 5 p.m., and you might not make as much work as you did. You might not make as much money as you did, but it's not so bad. Well, this is not a description of the people you want to hire, but I'm telling you, don't despair. One, don't generalize these generations. They're not all like that. There are 67 million people in this country between 20 and 34 years old. I can tell you they're not all the same. Look at the entry-level programs, the entry-level jobs at Blackstone or Goldman Sachs. You get one of those jobs, you are going to be working 80, 90, 100 hours a week. And the number of people who have applied for those jobs in the past year have been all-time high levels. It's harder to get into those jobs than to get into Harvard, but people want to do it. So don't generalize the generations. The people you want are out there. It helps if you give them a noble purpose. A lot of young people, especially in their 20s, don't really understand how business works. They're not sure capitalism is really a good idea. To get them to come and be enthusiastic on your team, they need to know that what you do has a noble purpose. And I am absolutely sure that every company has within it a noble purpose. And it is part of the leadership's job to identify it and enunciate it and make sure everybody knows what it is. Many of them demand training and development. We hear this especially about the youngest workers. They want training and development at the job. And that's really great for the employer because, not everybody's enthusiastic about getting extra training at work. This generation demands it. They want it, and especially about AI. They want to be educated. In a very recent poll, half of them said that if they weren't offered training in AI in the first year, they would quit their jobs. This is a win for everybody. And also, this generation, they're the ones who most want to work in the office. The stereotype is the opposite, that they don't want to come in. They just want to work from home all the time. Here's the data. This is a survey, the percent who want full-time remote work by age category. The youngest age category has the fewest people who want to work full-time remote. They know that they need to learn the business. They need to make the relationships. And they can only do that in person. And it's the oldest category that most wants to work remotely. And it's because they know the business. They have the relationships. They also have a lake house where it's nice to do work from home. It's not the stereotype. The role of people as technology advances is something we have to get real about. What's this? This is the original McCormick Reaper, the beginning of agriculture technology. One guy and 2 horses can reap an entire field in an hour or 2. When this was patented in 1837, 70% of the U.S. workforce worked in agriculture. Today, with all the technology that has come from then till now, today less than 2% of the workforce is in agriculture. Does anybody think that we'd be better off today if 70% of us were still working in agriculture? So far, I haven't found anybody. But yes, did millions of jobs go away? Yes, they did. And it was a good thing. Let's get real. Technology eliminates jobs. It always does. And it's going to do it this time. But at the same time, it creates new jobs. And what's much more important is it enables the creation of many, many more jobs as well. In addition, those new jobs are higher paying because when people use technology with their jobs, they're more productive. So they get paid more. The pattern over time has been that technology does eliminate jobs, but it creates more jobs overall, and those are higher paying jobs. So we have more jobs and we have a higher standard of living. That's the pattern over the past 250 years. Now, I want to conduct a poll, and before I ask you to raise your hands, I want to tell you what the choice is. On the one hand, do you think that the historical pattern is going to repeat itself, is going to continue now? The historical pattern that I described. Or the other choice is, do you think that it's different now? And maybe the historical pattern won't repeat. So, first choice, how many think the historical pattern will repeat? Okay. How many think it's different now and maybe it won't repeat? Yeah. It's a substantial number on both sides. And that's striking because for years and years, nobody would have questioned the historical pattern. Now we're not so sure.